My ex-husband stalked me every day and threatened my admirers until my new boyfriend, a boxer, punished him, but then he found new victims. I'm Avery, I'm 27 now, and I finally left him 3 years ago after spending 4 years in the most toxic relationship I've ever experienced. I thought leaving him would mean freedom. It didn't. He just found new ways to stay in my life. The day after I moved into my new apartment, I went to Target to buy basics, cleaning supplies, dishes, the normal stuff. While I was in the cleaning aisle, a guy around my age smiled politely at me. Just a regular, friendly smile. I smiled back because that's simply what people do. 2 hours later, Colin was pounding on my door. To this day, I have no idea how he got my new address. He slammed his fist against the door so hard I thought the hinges would snap. "I saw you at Target," he yelled from the hallway. "I saw that guy staring at you. You think you can just leave me? You think I'm gonna let some random guy think he has a chance with you?" I called the police. They came. They talked to him. But by the time they arrived, Colin was calm, polite, even smiling. He told them it was just a breakup argument, that emotions were running high, that he misunderstood what he thought he saw. They told us both to move on with our lives, and drove away. That was only the beginning. The second time was at a coffee shop. A barista was just chatting with me while making my latte. I didn't even notice Colin sitting in the corner until later. That same barista came out after his shift and found all 4 tires slashed on his car. He looked confused. I wasn't. I knew exactly who had done it. The third time was at my gym. A guy asked if I was done using a machine, literally just a simple question. Colin followed him to the parking lot and cornered him, threatening him to stay away from me. The guy went back inside, complained to the staff, and security checked the cameras. Colin got banned from the gym. But even that did nothing to stop him. For the next 2 years, I lived like I was constantly being watched. I avoided eye contact. I didn't talk to men. I didn't smile. Anywhere I went, I expected him to be there, lurking. I tried getting a restraining order, but Colin was smart, he never touched me. He went after the people around me. He always had some excuse, some alibi, just enough wiggle room that nothing ever stuck. My friends begged me to move. My mom asked me to come back to Ohio. But I had built a life in Austin. I had a job I liked as a graphic designer, my own apartment, my routine. I was stubborn. Why should I be the one to run? So I stayed. And I disappeared into myself. I stopped going anywhere except work. I didn't date. I didn't socialize. I was 25 and living like someone under house arrest. Then I met Ethan. It was a Wednesday, and my laptop crashed in the middle of a deadline. Completely died. I panicked and ran 2 blocks to this little electronics repair shop near my office. I probably looked like I was about to cry. Ethan was at the counter. He was huge. I'm 5 feet 4 inches, and I had to tilt my head back just to look at him. He must have been at least 6 feet 5 inches, maybe a little more. Wide shoulders, big hands, nose slightly crooked like it had been broken a few times, and a scar cutting through his left eyebrow. He looked intimidating in the kind of way that makes you automatically take a step back. But when he spoke, his voice was soft. "Hey, it's okay. We'll figure it out. Let me take a look," he said. I told him everything, the deadline, the panic, how badly I needed the laptop working. He just nodded and listened. Then he smiled and said, "I can fix this in about an hour. Go grab a coffee next door and try to breathe a little. Come back after." I wanted to warn him not to talk to me. I wanted to tell him that being kind to me was dangerous. But I didn't have time. So I just said thank you and left. 1 hour later, the laptop was fixed. Working perfectly. Ethan wouldn't charge me for the labor. First-time customer discount, he joked. Just pay for the part. I should have taken the laptop and walked away forever. But standing there, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, safe. Maybe it was because he was so big that I couldn't imagine Colin intimidating him. Maybe I was just exhausted from living scared. "Thank you," I told him. "Really? You saved my life today." "Anytime," he said, handing me his business card. We're here 6 days a week. If anything breaks again, just come back. I walked out of the shop, and only made it halfway down the block before I saw Colin. He was across the street, leaning against a building, staring right at me. Our eyes met. He smiled, but not a real smile. A warning smile. My stomach dropped. I hurried back to my office and spent the rest of the day with my heart pounding. That night, on my way home, I drove past the repair store. The lights were still on. I saw Ethan inside working at the counter. I pulled over and just sat there watching, waiting for Colin to show up and do something awful. But nothing happened. Ethan locked up around 7, got into a giant pickup truck, and drove off. I went home and barely slept. The next day, I couldn't focus. I checked the repair shop's Facebook page constantly, expecting to see vandalism or broken windows. Nothing. At lunch, I walked by the store. Ethan was there helping a customer. He saw me through the window and waved. I waved back and kept walking, my heart beat loud in my ears. 3 days went by. Nothing. No messages. No slashed tires. No shadow following me. It didn't make sense. On Saturday, I went to the downtown farmers market for the first time in over a year. I used to go every week, before Colin. I was picking out tomatoes when I heard a voice say my name. Avery. I turned around and saw Ethan. He was wearing athletic shorts and a tank top, holding a reusable grocery bag. His arms were huge, not bodybuilder huge, but fighter huge. Muscles meant for function, not posing. Hey, I said, trying to act normal. I didn't know you came here. Every Saturday, he said with a grin. There's a vendor over there who makes these incredible breakfast burritos. And more than that, Ethan added, I want to take care of you. That was 4 months ago. And in all that time, Colin hasn't shown up once. No texts, no calls, no lurking around corners. No one in my life has been threatened or harassed. For the first time in over 2 years, there's silence. Peace. I almost didn't recognize what it felt like at first. Ethan and I are still together. I go to every one of his fights now. He's won his last 3. Last month, we decided to move in together. We found a small house with a yard, something new, something untouched by old memories. Ethan had been living in a tiny apartment above the repair shop, and I'd been surviving in a 1-bedroom full of ghosts. Starting fresh felt right. House hunting, though, was a journey. Every place we toured, my mind automatically scanned for danger, sturdy locks, good lighting, exits. Ethan picked up on it instantly. We'll find somewhere you feel safe, he kept saying. We're not rushing. 3 weeks later, we did. A cozy 2-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. The landlord was an older woman named Denise, who lived down the street. She took one look at Ethan and said, "Oh good. You're a big one. We need more decent men around here." Ethan laughed. "I'll try to live up to that, ma'am." We moved in on a Saturday. Lauren came to help, along with 2 of Ethan's training partners, Jared and Connor. They were fighters too, not quite as big as Ethan, but still the kind of guys you wouldn't want to mess with. They treated me like I'd always been part of the group. "Dude, he does not shut up about you," Jared said while hauling boxes. "Avery this, Avery that. We get it. You're in love." Ethan threw a roll of packing tape at his head.
That first night we had no furniture, so we sat on the living room floor eating pizza out of the box. Ethan wrapped his arm around me and said, "This is ours. Our space. Our life. Nobody else gets to touch this." And for the first time I believed it. The next few months were the happiest I've ever had. I was learning what a real relationship looked like. One where disagreements didn't lead to punishment. Our first actual fight happened about 3 months in. Something minor. Ethan didn't text to say he'd be late at the gym, and when my calls went unanswered, panic built until I snapped at him when he walked through the door. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't throw anything. He didn't disappear for days. He just said, "You're right. I should have called. I'm sorry." And that was it. No manipulation. No punishment. Just understanding and accountability. I started crying in the kitchen because I had forgotten that conflict could be handled without cruelty. Ethan held me while I explained how Colin used to drag out fights for days, freezing me out, making me beg, always shifting blame. "I'm never going to be that," Ethan told me. We'll disagree sometimes, that's life. But we'll fight fair. And we'll choose each other afterward. Every time. I was learning how to live again, how to exist in public spaces without shrinking, how to smile at strangers without fear of consequences. But healing is not a straight line. Around the 5-month mark, we went to dinner with some of Ethan's gym friends. One of them brought his new girlfriend, Haley. She was about my age, long dark hair, friendly. But something about the way she talked about her ex set me off. The restaurant was crowded, loud, too many voices, too many bodies, too many men. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. I walked to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and tried to breathe the way my old therapist had taught me. It didn't work. My heart was racing. I was convinced Colin was out there somewhere, waiting. Lauren found me after 10 minutes. She sat on the bathroom floor with me while I fell apart. "You're safe," she repeated. "He's not here. Ethan's right outside. You're safe." Eventually, Ethan came to get me. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't push. He just told everyone we were leaving and drove me home. Later in bed, I whispered, "I ruined dinner." "You didn't ruin anything," he said. "You had a panic attack. That's not something you choose." I thought I was getting better. "You are getting better," he said. "Healing just isn't a straight path." He encouraged me to try therapy again. So I did. Her name was Dr. Naomi Park, no relation to Ethan, and she specialized in trauma. She didn't force me to relive what happened. She helped me understand it. She helped me remember that surviving doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. "You can't control what other people do," she told me once. "You could only control how you survived it." And you did. Slowly, I started to feel like the person I used to be, the girl who laughed without flinching, who didn't brace herself every time someone raised their voice. Then last week I saw Colin. I was in the frozen foods aisle at the grocery store when I looked up and there he was. We stared at each other. No words. No threats. And then Colin turned his cart and walked away from me. I stood there for a minute, processing. And then I laughed, right there in the middle of the store. Because for the first time he was the one who was afraid. I told Ethan that night. "He ran away from you," Ethan said, smiling. "Good. I feel like I should feel bad," I admitted. "You scared him off. Isn't that just the same pattern repeating?" Ethan shook his head. "The difference is I'm not controlling you. I'm not isolating you. I didn't make your life smaller. I just made sure he couldn't keep doing that to you. That's not the same thing." He was right. A few days later, something unexpected happened. I got a Facebook message from a woman named Brianna. I didn't recognize her at first, but her profile said she lived in Austin. Her message read, "I hope this isn't weird, but I heard through a mutual friend that you used to date Colin Reyes. I just started seeing him and something feels off. Would you be willing to talk?" The bottom of my stomach dropped. He was doing it again. Starting over with someone new. I called Ethan immediately. "What do I do?" "You meet her," he said without hesitation. "You tell her the truth. Give her the chance you didn't get." So I did. Brianna and I met at a coffee shop the next day. She was 23, sweet, nervous, and already second-guessing herself. I didn't soften anything. I told her about the 4 years, the monitoring, the isolation, the manipulation, how Colin slowly dismantled my world piece by piece. And then I told her how it starts. I told Brianna everything, how Colin used to read through my messages when I wasn't looking, how he threatened every man who so much as spoke to me after I left, and how for 2 years I lived in fear of simple conversations. As I talked, Brianna's face kept getting paler. "He told me you were crazy," she whispered. "He said you lied about him, that you cheated on him, that you tried to ruin his life after he broke up with you." "That's exactly what he does," I said. "He flips the story so he's the victim and everyone else is the villain." Brianna swallowed hard. "He's already checking my phone. He said it's because he has trust issues because of you." I thought I was helping him heal. "You're not helping him," I said gently. "You're letting him tighten the leash. And it will get worse." Brianna started crying as she gathered her things. I didn't know if she would believe me. Some people have to feel the fire themselves before they run. 2 days later, she texted me. "I broke up with him." He freaked out. Started screaming and punching walls. But I left. "Thank you." I showed Ethan the message. "You saved her," he said. "No," I corrected. "We saved her." But things didn't end there. 3 days after that, Brianna called me in a panic. "He's outside my apartment," she said. Her voice was trembling. "He's been sitting in his car for an hour just staring at my building. I called the police but they said unless he does something they can't arrest him." "Tell me your address," I said. It was only 15 minutes away. I grabbed my keys ready to run out the door but Ethan caught me by the arm. "Where are you going?" "Brianna's. Colin is there. She's terrified." "Then I'm going with you." We drove over together. And sure enough, Colin's car was parked across the street, headlights off, engine running. He was looking up at one of the windows. Ethan parked directly behind him. Then he got out and walked right up to Colin's driver's side door. I stayed in the truck, heart pounding, watching through the windshield as Ethan tapped on the window. Colin rolled it down. I couldn't hear the words, but I could read their faces. Colin started angry. Then his expression shifted, surprise, then fear, and then he put the car in drive and left. Ethan got back in beside me. He's gone. What did you say to him? I reminded him of the conversation we had at the shop. Ethan's voice was calm. And I made it very clear that if he continues this, I'll make sure everyone in Austin, especially his employer, knows who he really is. His employer? I repeated. I looked him up, Ethan said. He works at a financial firm downtown. They have a strict code of conduct. I doubt they'd be thrilled to hear one of their employees is stalking multiple women. I stared at him. You researched him? He shrugged. Of course I did. Know your opponent. That's rule number 1. We went upstairs to Brianna's apartment. She was still shaking but relieved to see us. We stayed an hour making sure Colin didn't return. Before we left, I gave her Dr. Chen's number. Therapy helps, I told her. I promise. That weekend Ethan and I ended up at the farmer's market again. The same spot, same shade tree, same burritos. Halfway through eating, Ethan said, I'm fighting for the regional championship next month. It's the biggest fight of my career. I'll be there, I said instantly. I know, he smiled. He took my hand. But that's not what I wanted to tell you. He exhaled. Before I met you, fighting was everything. It was all I was. But now, it's still important, but it's not the whole world anymore. You're the most important thing to me. My heart was pounding. I'm not proposing, he added, laughing. Not yet. But you changed me, Avery. You made me realize strength isn't just about how hard you can hit. It's about who you stand up for. I kissed him right there under the tree with people walking around us. I didn't care who saw. The championship was 3 weeks later. His opponent was a fighter from Houston, 18 wins, 2 losses. Even Ethan's coaches looked nervous. Ethan didn't. I'm ready, he told me the night before. I've trained like hell for this. But even if I lose, I already won. Because I have you. The fight was brutal. 5 full rounds. Ethan took hard shots, his face was bloody by round 3, but he kept pushing. I couldn't watch sometimes. Lauren held my hand while I flinched at every punch. But when Ethan fought back, I screamed his name louder than anyone in the arena. In the final minute of round 5, Ethan landed a clean combination. His opponent dropped. The ref stepped in. Ethan won. The stadium erupted. I sobbed. These weren't the panic tears I was used to, they were happy tears. Real ones. Back in the locker room, Ethan's face was swollen, bruised, one eye nearly closed, but he was smiling like he had the sun inside him. We did it, he said. You did it, I insisted. No, he shook his head. Wait. I couldn't have focused on training if Colin was still crawling through your life. You freed me too. He was right. A few weeks after that, Ethan was offered a contract with a bigger promotion. More money, larger arenas, tougher fighters. What do you think? He asked me. Should I take it? Absolutely, I said. Without hesitation. This has always been your dream. I'm not holding you back from that. You could never hold me back, he said. Then he pulled me into his arms. Come with me. To all of it. The travel, the training, everything. I don't want to do this alone. So we did. I switched to remote work. We traveled city to city. I watched him fight in Dallas, San Antonio, Las Vegas. He won some. He lost some. But we were happy. His first loss was in Vegas. His opponent was more experienced, faster. Ethan fought well, but the decision went the other way. Back at the hotel, he sat on the edge of the bed silent. You fought beautifully, I said. Not well enough. You can't win every fight, I told him. I don't need you to win. I just need you to come home to me. He finally looked at me, really looked. How did I get this lucky? We both got lucky, I said. 6 months into his contract, we were in Phoenix the night before a match. Ethan was supposed to be resting, saving his energy. But instead he was sitting on the edge of the bed, nervous. What's wrong? I asked him gently. Nothing's wrong, he said. Then he stood and reached into his gym bag. When he turned back around, he was holding a small box. My heart practically stopped. Avery, he said, voice soft, I know I joked at the farmer's market about not proposing yet, but that was months ago. I've been carrying this with me to every fight, waiting for the perfect moment. But I realize there isn't one. There's just us. And I don't want to wait anymore. He opened the box. Inside was a simple, beautiful ring, elegant in the quiet, steady way Ethan is. Will you marry me? I couldn't get words out, so I just nodded as tears filled my eyes. I held out my hand and he slipped the ring onto my finger. We both started crying big, messy, ridiculous tears, the happiest I'd shed in years. The very next night he won his fight. When they handed him the microphone, he dedicated the victory to his fiancée. That was 2 months ago. Now we're planning a wedding, something small, something real, something ours. Lauren is my maid of honor. Ethan's brothers are flying in from Minnesota. We've been going to cake tastings and venue tours like a couple in a romantic comedy. Ethan insists on having input on everything, which is adorable and absolutely hilarious. This massive MMA fighter discussing frosting texture with total seriousness. I want lemon, he said at the bakery. With raspberry filling, I blurted, the exact same thought. The baker smiled. You two are absolutely made for each other. We settled on an outdoor ceremony. Ethan's gym offered their outdoor training yard, and it sounds strange, sure, but it's gorgeous there at night. Soft string lights. A view of the hilltops. The place where we grew into who we are now. It feels right, Ethan said. It's where we became us. Last week I got another message on Facebook, this time from a man named Logan. I heard you used to date Colin Reyes. I'm a private investigator. I've been hired by his current girlfriend regarding some concerning behavior. Would you be willing to give a statement? Turns out Colin had moved on to someone new, Maya, and she was smart enough to get help before things spiraled. The PI was building a restraining order case. Brianna and I both gave statements. Then the PI called again. We've located 5 other women, he said. All with similar stories. We're establishing a behavioral pattern. Would you testify if this goes to court? I looked over at Ethan, standing in our kitchen, chopping onions, humming like the world had finally become a safe place. Yes, I said. I will. 3 weeks later I got the update. Colin has been served with a restraining order. The DA is reviewing charges for stalking and harassment. It's looking good. I called Brianna to tell her. She sobbed. It's really over? It's really over, I said. That night Ethan and I didn't go out to celebrate. We just curled up on our couch watching some dumb movie feeling normal. You did it, Ethan said during a commercial. No, I corrected. We did it. Every woman who spoke up. You know the best part? Ethan said. He didn't lose to another man. He lost to all of you. To the truth. You took your power back. He was right. The preliminary hearing was scheduled 2 months later, right after our wedding. The prosecutor was a woman named Sienna, who'd handled domestic abuse cases for over 15 years. I've seen a lot of situations like this, she told me, but very few where this many survivors agree to stand together. Be proud of that. I'm just tired of being afraid, I said. You won't have to be afraid anymore, she replied. Not after this. Wedding preparations continued. Ethan's mom flew in early to help, exactly the warm, funny, full-hearted woman I expected her to be. She hugged me the second we met. Thank you for loving my son, she said. He went through a lot after his dad passed. Fighting was how he coped. But you gave him peace. I hadn't known the whole story. That night I asked Ethan. My dad died in a car accident when I was 17, he said quietly. Drunk driver. Completely random. Gone in an instant. I took his hand. I'm so sorry. It's part of why I fight, he said. Dad always told me to protect people who couldn't protect themselves. To use my strength for something good. Standing up for you felt like honoring him. We both cried, not from pain but from finally letting go of it. Yesterday I returned to the same Target where everything started. I went to the same cleaning aisle. A guy around my age smiled at me, and I smiled back, and nothing happened. No dread. No shadow behind me. No Colin. Just 2 strangers being human. I sat in my car afterward and breathed, really breathed, the way a person breathes when they are finally free. Then I drove home. To my home. To our home. To the life I get to live instead of just survive. Tonight Ethan has a small local fight, nothing big. And I'll be right there in the front row in his hoodie screaming myself hoarse. Because when you love someone you show up. You stand beside them, not in front, not behind, beside. And if anyone ever tries to scare me again, tries to take that away, they'll learn quickly I am not alone. Not because I need someone to protect me, but because we choose each other. Every single day. Our wedding is next Saturday. A sunset ceremony. The start of the life we built together, brick by brick, breath by breath, fight by fight. Lauren has been by my side through all of the planning. She's the one who found my dress, a simple white gown that feels effortless, like I'm myself in it. When I tried it on, she just stared at me and said, "You're glowing. I've never seen you this happy." And she was right. I am, truly. Ethan still hasn't seen the dress. He's being oddly traditional about it, which makes me laugh every time. You literally get punched in the face for money, I teased him, but you're superstitious about seeing my dress before the wedding? He looked dead serious. Some traditions you respect. His brothers arrived yesterday, Liam and Cole, both younger than him but still built like they were carved out of gym equipment. They treat me like they've known me forever, already making jokes at Ethan's expense. He cried at a commercial, Liam told me. Ethan threw up his hands. It was about a dad teaching his daughter to ride a bike. It was emotional. Honestly, I love this version of him, the one who lets himself be soft. My mom flew in from Ohio, and she and Ethan's mom bonded instantly. The two of them have been talking wedding details like they've been friends for decades. Yesterday my mom pulled me aside. He's good for you, she said. I can see it. You're yourself again. The girl who laughed easily. The one who trusted the world. I'm not completely back, I said. I'm still learning. That's what being alive is, she said. We're all still learning. Tomorrow is the rehearsal dinner, just close family and the bridal party. Ethan insisted we have it at the farmer's market, at the burrito stand where everything really began. The vendor lit up when we asked. I remember you too, she said. Young love, the best kind. But tonight is Ethan's fight. His last one before the wedding. He scheduled it early so he wouldn't be stressed during the final week. I'm getting dressed now, pulling on his team shirt and my lucky jeans. Lauren will pick me up soon. Jared and Connor will be there along with half the gym. Ethan left hours ago to warm up. But before he stepped into the locker room he sent me one last text. See you soon. I love you. After tonight it's just us. Forever. Just us. Forever. I like the way that feels in my chest. Colin stole 4 years from me. He took my confidence, my freedom, the ability to just exist without scanning every room for danger. But he doesn't get to take another single thing. I took my life back. Ethan and I took it back. And I am never letting it go again. The preliminary hearing is 2 weeks after the wedding. All 5 of us are testifying, me, Brianna, Maya, and 2 women I haven't met yet. Sienna, the prosecutor, says the case is solid. Colin might take a plea just to avoid trial. He's done, she told me. Men like him only have power when their victims stand alone. When you all stand together, he has nothing. I believe her. Sometimes I think about how close I came to a different life. If my laptop hadn't died that day, if I hadn't stepped into that repair shop, I might still be living scared, hiding from the world, letting him control me without even being there. But I did walk into that shop. And Ethan wasn't Colin. He didn't use his strength to trap me, he used it to make space for me to breathe. That's the difference. Colin made my world smaller. Ethan made it wider. Colin made me afraid to be seen. Ethan taught me how to step into the light again. Colin punished any man who acknowledged me. Ethan made sure I could talk, laugh, exist freely again. Next week I'll say my vows and take Ethan's last name, Chin. Avery Chin. Feels like a clean page. A new book. A different life. Lauren joked that we should hire Ethan to stand at the venue entrance and glare in case Colin tries to show up. But honestly, I don't think Colin will. He has bigger problems now, the kind that don't go away when you yell or intimidate. And me? I'm just living, going to work, planning a wedding, cheering for my fighter, smiling at strangers in grocery store aisles. All the things that used to feel impossible. But there's one more moment, the one I haven't told you about yet. Last week, I was sitting in Dr. Chen's office during my usual session. We were talking about the wedding, about how excited I am, when she asked me something I didn't expect. What are you most afraid of? I really thought about it. I'm afraid I'll wake up one day and realize this was all temporary. That Ethan will change. That I'll somehow end up right back where I started. Do you actually believe that? She asked. No, I admitted. But the fear is still there. That's normal, she said. Trust takes time. You're rebuilding something that was broken. But Avery, consider this. She leaned in. What if you're not afraid it isn't real? What if you're afraid that you finally deserve to be this happy? And that question, that one, stayed with me. Her words hit me like a punch I didn't see coming. She was right. I still had a part of me that believed I deserved everything Colin did, that I had caused it somehow. You did not deserve any of what happened to you, Dr. Chin said, as if she could see right into the center of my chest. And you absolutely deserve the happiness you have now. Ethan knows it. Lauren knows it. Everyone who loves you knows it. Now you just have to let yourself believe it too. I'm trying, I told her. And I meant it. The fight tonight went well. Ethan won by decision. Not his cleanest performance, not his flashiest, but a win all the same. Afterward the whole team went out for burgers, laughing, loud, sweaty from adrenaline. No more fights until after the honeymoon, Ethan announced, grinning. I'm taking a month off. No training. No sparring. Just me and my wife. My wife. I'm going to be someone's wife. Ethan's wife. For our honeymoon we're going to Minnesota. He wants to show me where he grew up. His neighborhood, his high school, the lake he swam in every summer. He wants to take me to his father's grave. And somehow that feels like turning a final page. That night, when we crawled into bed, Ethan turned toward me in the dark. I want you to know something, he said. No matter what happens in the future, no matter how many fights I win or lose, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You didn't just save yourself. You saved me too. How did I save you? I asked. He took a slow breath. I was angry for a long time. After my dad died, there was just rage. Fighting helped, but it didn't heal. I was just pouring the anger into a different container. Then I met you, and suddenly there was something to fight for, not against. Love replaced anger. That changed everything. We fell asleep holding hands, fingertips touching like we were making a promise without words. Tomorrow is the rehearsal. The day after is the wedding. And then, the rest of our lives. I'm not going to pretend I'm thankful for what Colin put me through. I'm not going to say it made me stronger or taught me lessons. That's the kind of thing people say to make trauma sound poetic. The truth is, abuse breaks you. It shatters who you were. And then you have to slowly, painfully, deliberately put yourself back together. I won't thank Colin for that. What I will say is, I'm grateful for Ethan. For his size and his strength and the softness he guards with all that muscle. For the way he stared down my worst nightmares and didn't flinch. For the way he chooses me, every day, every moment. For the way he helped me reclaim a life I thought I had lost forever. And I'm grateful for me too. For refusing to disappear. For not running back to Ohio. For choosing to go to that farmer's market again. For letting myself speak. For letting myself love. For surviving. Colin is not my story anymore. He's a closed chapter, sealed shut, left behind. This is a new book now, and it's a good one. The kind of story where the heroine doesn't need rescuing, but allows someone strong to stand beside her anyway. Where the man who looks like a monster in the cage is actually the gentlest person she has ever known. Where love doesn't trap you, it frees you. Where you can smile at a stranger in Target and nothing bad happens. Where we win. And we did. Every single one of us who came forward. Every woman who refused to be silent. Every survivor who linked arms instead of isolating. The wedding is in 6 days. My dress is hanging in the closet. Ethan's suit is pressed and ready. The cake is ordered. The flowers are arranged. And for the first time in years, I'm not scanning corners or checking exits. I'm not bracing for harm. I'm not waiting for the floor to fall out. I'm just excited. Nervous, yes, but excited. And so deeply, fully in love with the life I'm finally allowed to have. With a man who met me when I was broken, and never once saw me as something to fix. With a future that is finally, unquestionably, mine.